If you are a beginner in Power Apps and want to learn Power Apps from the beginning, then this is going to be very helpful for you, because here I am going to tell you how we can develop a Power Apps Canvas app from the scratch. And this is going to be a responsive app with one screen, and a few containers will be there in that. So that will be fully responsive app, not like the typical classic approach where there will be three screens like edit screen or display screen and browse screen. It will not be like that. One screen having various containers in that. We choose one layout and develop an app for you. So you will get to know about how to work with this containers especially, and how we can add few controls, display some messages. I have shown how we can write some logic into the button click and display some message as well. Then I have explained how we can save this app, how we can publish this app, how we can edit some of the properties while publishing this app. You will get to know everything. Finally, I have explained how you can share this app so that other users can able to edit or use this app. I have explained everything on that. I will show you everything on the system. But if you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, because here I make videos on this Power Platform technologies, SharePoint, SPFX, all these technologies. So you will get notifications whenever I'll make videos on this, right? So I'll see you inside the video. Now let us see how we can build a Canvas app from scratch in Power Apps. So for this, I will go to the browser. Here I have logged in with the user. You can see with my account. You can see here, this is the work account. And here I will go to make.powerapps.com. So make.powerapps.com is the place where we can see all the apps. You can design apps from the scratch itself. Now, as I said, like a lot of things has been changed from in terms of the UI. So what I'll do here is, if you'll see it here from the home page, now you can see here, this is the home page. You can see start a design, start with data, start with plan. And also if you'll click on create, you will see these things, right? So from here, you see you can create from blank a canvas app. You can also see split screen, right? In this case, you can see there are two this screen is divided into two parts, right? So these are nothing but the container which will hold your controls. Same way, if you'll see, there is a sidebar and then top, and then there is a body section also in this, right? Same way, this is also canvas app. And then you can see here this one, which is having a header, then there is a main section, and then there is a footer. That is also a canvas app, right? So what I'll do here is I will select this. Now don't worry about this layouts that you are seeing here, or even you can choose a blank layout, because once you create this app, even in a blank layout, you can add these containers, and then inside that you can add your controls. So I'll choose this option, header, main section, and the footer, right? So now you can see our app is here, it is designed, and you will have one screen container, which is the main container. You can see it, right? But inside this, if you'll expand this tree view, you will see the header container. The moment I selected, you can see here it is highlighting, right? So that is the header container. Then there is a main container. This is the main container, and it is the footer container, right? This is fully responsive, so you don't need to worry about the responsiveness of this application. If you remember previously, when you usually create an app like from the scratch this way, you will come up with three screen app, right? But in this case, there is one screen, and this is going to be a responsive app. So in this case, what I'll do first is, you can see here this one, I selected the header section, and you can give a background color on this. If you'll go here, you see there is some colors that you can add it from the properties in the right side. If I will just choose the color here, you can see that is white color, and you can give another color. Let's say I put this color, you can see it, right? Inside this, you can even add controls into it, right? Let's say I will add a text control where I will display some information on this. So I will say, let's say good morning or welcome to let's say Power Apps, right? You can see here I have done this, and as you can see, right, when you add it, if you will expand this header container, now from the left side, you saw this is the control that has been selected here, right? From here also, you will be able to increase the font size. you can provide a color to this. For example, in this case, if you'll scroll down, you see here, right, font size is there. You can select a font size here. Let's say I will select 25. Now you will see here that will become 25, right? So let's make it to 20 pixel. And also you, if you'll see here, you can choose different the fonts that are available here, right? So suppose I will select this. Now you can see here, right, the font has been changed. You can also make it to center aligned. I will show you why it is not coming on this case, because our container we need to choose it. But what I'll do here is next is the color I will change. In this case, the font color I want to give, let's say, this font color as white, so that you can see here. Now this is the font color is coming like this. Now why this this one is not changing? If you look at select this control that we have added, and if you'll see here, I will just go to over here and you will see the width, right? So you see here, by default the width is 150. You can make it to let's say 350, right? So I'll just add it to 350. So now if you'll see here, that becomes 350. But you can also change, or you can make it to dynamic. For example, you can say, let's say whatever the header container you want to make the same width, then you can say header container 1 dot width. So that will become the width of this control, right? So what I'll do now here is, if I'll select this header control, you see here justify is start, and then if you'll see here, there is center, right? You can see here it is coming to the center itself now, right? So I'll not go much about this one. Next, what we will do here is, in this case, if you'll see here, now this is our main container. Here I am going to add a few controls. So basically what we'll do here is, I will say enter your username, and then we will give the option that user will enter their username, and after that we will add a button where user will click on that and they can see a message, right? So in this case, if you'll click on this, I'll add a text one, and then if you'll see here, I will add again. You see here, I choose this main container one, and then I will choose another text box. In this case, it will be a text input, and then I will add another one which is a button, you can see here. And then last one that I am going to add is a label, so that we can display the message here, right? So now you cannot drag and drop these controls, right? Because these are the responsive controls. So if I will just show you, if I'll just select this main container, you see here there is the direction is there, right? If you'll see here, vertical and horizontal, right? So when you will say vertical, the controls are getting added one by one, right? If I will choose horizontal, you see here the controls are adding like this, right? And since I choose center, it is coming to the center. If I'll say a top, you can see here it is going to the top. If I'll say button, it will come from here. And if you'll say stretch, you can see here it is stretch doing the entire screen width, right? I'll make it to center in this case. Next, you will see, so let's say even if you have selected a blank layout, anytime you can click over here and search for container, right? So you will be able to see here, like one is container, this one where even when you will add the content controls into this container, then you can drag and drop, drag and move the position, this thing you can do. But this horizontal container and vertical container and grid container, you will not be able to do that, because those are responsive by nature, right? So you can add those containers here, even if that is a blank canvas, you will get it. Now in this case, since we have this container which is already is there, so I made it to horizontal instead of vertical. So just to show you, like vertical it will come like this. I don't want that way. Let's say there will be horizontal one, and then what I will do in this case is, let's say I want to make it to, let's say, center. Now you can see here everything is coming into the center. There is a one property is there. If you'll see here, the gap is there, right? So I want to provide a gap between this control, so I will make 20 here. So now if you'll see here, there is a gap is coming in each control, right? There is one more thing also, you can make this a wrap property. I will make it to on, right? Since this is the text, what I wanted to do here is, I will say enter your name, and then you can see here, this is the input text box. Anytime you can go and rename this control, so that you will have your best practices in terms of the control naming convention. So you can right click on this, I will say rename, and then you will say txt, let's say name, right? I change this control name. Same way, let's say button is there, button canvas 1, I can rename it, I can give button submit, right? And then the last one, if you'll see here, text, here we want to display the results. So I will say lbl and then I will say result, right? There's a spelling mistake here, so I will say result, correct? So now we have the naming conventions properly on this. So but you see here the button text is coming as button. So what we will do here, we can change this, we will say submit. So once you have done this, now you can see here the form is coming correctly. Now if you'll just click on this, then you can see here this form is coming like this, and you can submit, and then nothing is coming, right? Because we have not written the logic on this. So before writing the logic, let me just introduce you the training courses. We have the complete Power Platform training course. So it has Power Apps. You can see here 6 modules are there on Power Apps. You can expand and see the entire content for it. Then Power Automate, Power BI, Power Pages, one module, and then Copilot Studio is there. This is not fully completed, but because I re-recorded everything, so whatever old is there, it is still there, but it is very soon it will complete. But we have already enrolled for it, because those people who want to go for the complete training course, the SharePoint development training course, Power Platform, and SPFX, all these things you will get it. These two courses, SharePoint and SPFX, is fully I have recorded and completed. This will be next 15 days or maximum in 30 days that will complete. But you can enroll for it and you can learn side by side, because every day videos are coming on that, and with that you will get this 100 plus SPFX solutions and Power Platform solutions. 50 plus Power Platform solutions are there. These are like small tools which will help you to learn and start working in your organization, right? You will get a lot of clue on this thing. So I'll put both the links in the video description. You can have a look at it. If you are really serious about learning SharePoint, Power Platform, SPFX, then do check out these links. Now coming back to this, here we are going to write our logic now. So the logic will be, let's say this text, right? I don't want this text to be appear by default whenever this will come. So I'll just remove it so that it will come blank, like this, right? So nothing is there. So I'll come back here. Now on the button, so on the click of this button, we want to add something over here. So this is false. Now what we are going to do here is we will write our logic here. I will say set. We use set to declare a global variable. Okay, so next one will be the variable name and then your value, right? So I will declare here var. Let's say this is the variable name. So var name, and then what will be the value? The value will be the text name dot text, right? So this is what is the thing that will be there. Now what we will do is we have put this in the variable. Now I will go to the label result. So here instead of text empty, I will give our variable name, which is var name, right? So if I will now click on this, now I will put something. Let's say I'll put Bijay and submit. You can see here it is coming as Bijay. If you want to give a good morning message or something, let's say good morning, something like this, or hello, then you can change it little bit. So if you'll click over here, then you can see here, right? I instead of directly the txt name dot text, I will write a message here. So in this case, I will say, let's say hello, and I will keep it blank, right? And then I will append it by using this ampersand, right? So what will now happen is if I will go there, and you can see here Bija is there. If I'll click on submit, now it is coming hello. Now there is a problem on this. If I'll remove it and I'll say submit, now hello is coming like this, right? So I'll just add one more logic into it before I'll show you how we can save and publish the app. So what we can do here is on the button submit, instead of hello like this, we can write a if clause. And what that if clause will do, the if clause will basically check if there is a value in the text txt name dot text, then it will keep this hello, else not, right? So what I'll do here is I will write a if here, right? So I'll go here, I'll write if txt, right? I will just add it here. txt name dot text. If it is empty, right, then we will add the set variable as, right? So I will set whatever the var we are using, right? Var name, we will make it to empty, else we will say that it can add these values, right? So if you'll see here, so I'll say equal to empty. That's the reason the error was coming. Equal to empty, then you set it the variable as empty, else hello, like this, right? So now if you'll see here, now we'll go here and I will put Vijay. You can see here, if I'll remove this and then click on submit, it is going, right? So this is how you can develop this app. Now once you develop this app, next you can save this app, publish this app, and you can share with other users so that they can access it, right? So for this, what I'll do here is I'll click on this save. Once you click on this save, then you can see here it is saying the name as app. I will give a name for it. Let's say I will say hello world app, right? And I will say save. So now the app has been saved, but other people will not be able to access it. So what you can do here is you can publish it, and I'll click on this publish button here. Now the app will be getting published. So now you can see here it is coming like this, the publish window. Here might be you want to change the the icon name, description, something like that. You can edit it. Even you can change the name, you can provide the description. There's an icon. Let's say I will change this icon to the star icon, and you can also add images. You can even provide the color here, right? Let's say the color I want to give here in this case is this one. And then you can even icon fill, you can do the color white is looking good, let it be. You can save, auto save, so that it every 2 minutes it will save, right? So other options are there. Row limit, when you want to retrieve data from the list or something, then that will be required. For us now it is fine. So I have changed, I have done those changes, and next time when I click on this, it will first save the app and then publish this version. So once you publish this version, if you'll go to the home page, I will not modify in the same page. Let the app is opened. I'll open the home page in another tab. So here you can see in the home page, now this app is there. It was taking some time and then it came. Here you can see. Now click on this, and then from here if you'll see there is details, and on this you will be able to see detail about this app, right? So this is the web person, someone can go ahead and access it. So suppose I'll right click this and I will try to open in another user. Now you can see here this user is user 8, and then on this if I'll try to access, they will not be able to access because we have not shared the app with them, right? So you can see here you can send a request for it. I'll just close it here. What I will do here is I will go back to our app, and then I'll go here. I will select the app again, and then I'll click on this share, and here I can provide the user 8, right? Now look at here a few options on this. If I'll select user 8, there are two options. I can make that as a user so that the user can open this app, play with this app. The other one you can do here is the co-owner, right? The co-owner can edit the app, can change your data connections, can share the app with other users. So those things they can do. Now if in any case, suppose your app is required a SharePoint site or something, ensure that the user will have access to that, else the operation will not be able to done, right? For example, your app, you are trying to save this to a SharePoint list, and if user 8 does not have the permission, then the user will not able to save this, right? Not able to use this, it will give an error. Now in this case, I will make this user as the co-owner so that they can modify it. So I will share this app with the other users. Then now you can see here I can copy this link. You can see here I have copied. Now if I'll try to open this, right, you will be able to see that the user can play with this. For example, here I will say user 8, and then I'll click on submit. You can see here it is coming, right? If I will refresh the home page for the user 8, then you can see on the apps, and if you'll go to this shared with me, then you will be able to see here the hello world 8 is shared with the user, right? And who is the owner? I am the owner. And but user 8 can click on this, can edit the app. So ensure to check that the environment environment, whatever you have used that is developed. Let's say I have used here Power Platform training environment. So when the user 8 is coming, a user should select this environment. Other environment apps you cannot access it in any other environment, right? Wherever in which environment the app is developed, you will be able to use that environment to share this, right? So this is how you can build a app from the scratch. You can write some logic and then you can share this app with other users. If you like this video, kindly subscribe to the channel, because here I make videos on SharePoint, Power Platform, SPFX, all these technologies, and I will see you soon.